back to Madison, Wisconsin for the regular season non-conference finale between the 24th ranked Wisconsin Badgers and the Illinois State Redbirds out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Matt Schumacher, former Big Ten Hooper, Trent Meacham with you. Both teams finding a groove at the end of this non-conference slate with a lot of newness in the starting lineups. 5 of these 10 starters hadn't previously started for these schools before this season, Trent, but a guy who's had his groove going all season long, Johnny Davis, who's back in the starting lineup tonight for Wisconsin.
Johnny Davis has been grooving all season. He gets it done at all 3 levels. He can shoot the 3. He can play off the bounce. They'll post him up some. You see the mid-range game. In transition, he's a tough guard. He does so much for the Badgers. And there, he can finish as well. And tonight, he's going up against a very talented player, Antonio Reeves, for the Redbirds, averaging over 20 a game as well. So this is going to be a fun matchup tonight to watch these guys battle each other.
Reeves tied for 15th in the NCAA in scoring. And Johnny Davis tied for 16th.
These guys can go. These guys can really go.
Can.
They can score in different ways. I'm not sure who's going to be matched up on who tonight, but you can be sure they're going to have a lot of responsibility, a lot of reps this evening.
Davis back in the starting lineup after missing the game against Nichols with a non-COVID related injury. And away we go from the Kohl Center. Wisconsin in the white and Illinois State in the away reds. Officials tonight, Courtney Green, Bill Eck, and Steve Haneke. Wall trying to zip pass down to Kroll, and it's picked off.
And that's what Illinois State wants to do. They want to get out in transition. That's their guy, Antonio Reeves. They're going to shoot a lot of threes, or shoot almost 40% on the season, but they want to play with great pace.
They lead the Missouri Valley in possessions with over 70 a game. They're scoring over 80 points per game. And ISU head coach Dan Mueller told us they are at their best when they're running. And how about that putback from Stephen Kroll?
And this is where the Redbirds are maybe at their worst on the boards, and where Wisconsin can't punish them tonight. You see Crowell there getting to the offensive rebound.
There's a basket, the first one of the night for Mark Freeman. One of a couple of transfers who's come over to Illinois State this year. Was a star-studded player at Tennessee State last season. And both these teams dealing with some newness in the starting lineup. We talked about that at the top of the broadcast. 3 players in the starting lineup who did not start last year for Wisconsin. Crowell again with the right hand and a touch in the lane. The floater goes.
And you've seen Wisconsin go to the post every possession here. We can expect that the entire game. Very deliberate. Have a number of guys they can post up, especially inverting that offense in their swing offense.
Illinois State's won 4 straight, 6 of their last 7. Reeves lets go a 3. And it's in and out.
Good job by Crowell getting out there and contesting the shot from Reeves.
Wisconsin has not played since December the 15th. Had a game canceled due to COVID, then of course the holiday break. So glad to be back in action tonight in the Kohl Center. And there is Johnny Davis on the scorer's sheet for the first time tonight.
Yeah, nice feed from the freshman, Chucky Hepburn. Looked away, fake a pass to make a pass. And if you're Illinois State, you can't leave Johnny Davis open for an easy 2 underneath the basket.
Now Chapman off the mark and off the top of the backboard. Crowell again. And it would have counted regardless. How about Crowell being used early and often in this ball game?
And another good feed here, high-low, Johnny Davis. You see Crowell creating that space, and that underneath the basket just wide open, but another nice find from the Badgers.
And then Davison draws a foul, and it goes back to Wisconsin. There is Greg Gard, 7th season as the head man at Wisconsin. And told us, interestingly about this team, Trent, the one thing he's known about his group, even since last spring, they are tough, they are resilient, and they are gritty, and they've had to show that a number of times this year. are racing 4 double-digit deficits to come away with wins as Davison is off the mark.
It's one thing for a coach to speak it, but this team has backed that up. They've shown that time and time again already in this early season.
Turnover into the hands of the freshman Hepburn. Step through, up and under, and kisses it off the window. Chucky Hepburn.
A crafty move from Chucky Hepburn in the open court. Kind of a step through, just as you said, Matt. Really impressive. Allowed Mark Freeman to kind of go past him. You'll see here, step through, Euro, loop it up. Nice finish from Chucky Hepburn. Put a little English on it. Okay.
A true freshman playing over 30 minutes a game for Greg Gard. They haven't had a true freshman point guard start in the opener in over 20 years. That's what Chucky Hepburn did in the opener this season for Wisconsin. And Greg Gard just gushed about him today on our call, saying he is wise and mature beyond his years.
Yeah, first, man, I got to go back because they've had some good point guards.
Okay,
that was Devin Harris, the last freshman point guard to start the season opener. Cameron Taylor, I played against him, but they've had Trayvon Hughes, Jordan Taylor, Dimitri Trice, a lot of very good point guards. And here, Chucky Hepburn, there's a maturity about his game. And even that possession there in the open court, a lot of young players want to go fast. And he played with great pace, allowed the defender to go past him as he stepped through with the finish. Just a very mature play from a young player.
8-0 run for the Badgers. Almost another turnover for Illinois State. They've had a pair in these opening minutes. And still no baskets from their leading scorer, Antonio Reeves. Dan Muller, coaching at his alma mater, 10th season, led this team to a Missouri Valley championship not too long ago. This year picked 10th. But he said, listen, we've had a lot of moving pieces this year. In their regular rotation of 8, they have 5 guys who are new and 3 guys who are returning but playing in different positions. He feels like finally they are starting to click a little bit more, particularly on the defensive end.
Yeah, they won 4 in a row, 6 of the last 7, so they're playing better. He likes how they're playing defensively. They're a team that can get up and down and score, but we're going to see contrasting styles tonight. Wisconsin's very deliberate, disciplined game plan on both ends.
Offensive foul against Illinois State. All Wisconsin early, riding an 8-0 run into the break. Welcome back to Madison, where the Badgers are currently riding an 8-0 run. They have held a really good offensive Illinois State team to 1 for 5 to start the ball game. And look, Wisconsin traditionally has been really good defensively. They're one of the best in the country this year.
Yeah, you see that 1.06 points per possession. That's really good, but that's on top of playing at a slower pace too. So Wisconsin's only allowing 61 points a game, for the opponents, but also to limit them in terms of opponents are not efficient against them. That just makes it really tough and also frustrating, I'm sure, for opposing teams.
That's 61 points per game, second best in the Big Ten, as Hepburn lets a 3 go and knocks it down. The freshman showing up and showing out early in the first half. 13-2 Wisconsin.
Illinois State got stuck going under that ball screen. He brought it back and found himself wide open, confidently stepped into that shot.
We talked about the fact that Illinois State has won 4 in a row, 6 of their last 7. Wisconsin's won a lot recently too. There's a block. It was Chris Vogt on the initial rejection. And Ryan Schmidt able to put it back. That stops a 11-0 run for the Badgers.
Chucky Hepburn off ball screens. He's there picking up a foul on Schmidt. But here before, they're chasing Davis over the ball screen, and then Reeves gets stuck going under. And now he just brings it right back. That's what you do. That's what you're told to do. If the defense goes under a ball screen, you want to bring that back, rescreen. And Reeves got lost, and Hepburn found himself wide open for that 3.
One of the big talking points around this Wisconsin team in the early going to this season, where can they find a third scoring threat? We're seeing it from Hepburn. Another tough shot goes. as he hits the hardwood.
Big time move. He's stepping up as the first option so far early in this game, but I love the pace that he plays with, which is so rare from a freshman. And you see Johnny Davis taking the challenge, guarding Antonio Reeves there. Great defense. And now watch this kind of half spin fake. Oh, I'm coming right back. Initiates the contacts, keep that ball away from the defense. Nice touch on that finish. Big time play.
One of the things that Greg Gard told us, we want to see Chucky be more aggressive getting to the basket. Boy, he has shown that tonight, and he's done it inside and outside, already knocking down the three. Now Johnny Davis on the zip pass to Chris Vogts. And a hammer time jam. All Wisconsin early, 15-2 run for the Badgers. And then Davis into the passing lane.
I love that possession from Johnny Davis. First, he stopped Antonio Reeves, who tried to work him out off the bounce. Great job staying in front of him, stayed engaged in the play, got into the passing lane, which Johnny Davis is really good, jumping those passing, and then, you know, he's going to finish in the fast break.
17-2 run for Wisconsin. Did you expect this to start the ball game?
I didn't expect this, but watch Johnny Davis here playing the passing lane. He almost acted like he was disengaged, gets that deflection, almost an assist to himself. Johnny Davis, he does it there on both ends of the floor. You saw the possession before, driving to the basket, finding Vogt down low for the dunk, and then defensively, the last two possessions, taking the challenge of guarding a 20-point scorer in Antonio Reeves. For him to step up and do it on both ends of the floor just shows, and there he is with his brother, shows that the caliber of player that he is.
Reeves 0 for 2 tonight. Illinois State just 2 for 7, and they've turned it over 5 times.
And again, Johnny Davis was there on the help side, forced a tough shot for Illinois State. Great help defense from Johnny Davis.
Jordan Davis and Carter Gilmore have both checked in for Wisconsin, who has a little bit shorter of a bench tonight. 5 players out due to COVID-19 protocols. As Gilmore takes a 3 and knocks that one in. Wisconsin shooting over 70% from the field and leading 22-4, 7 minutes in. Foul will keep it right here with Illinois State.
Antonio Reeves seeing double there. Jordan Davis on the defensive matchup there again. Great job from another Davis, staying in front of him, but also staying close to him, connected to him so that he couldn't get off an open look three. Antonio Reeves really good step backs, off the bounce shooting threes. Great defense from Jordan Davis on that possession.
First game for Wisconsin since December the 15th. And they haven't had a ton of opportunity to string practices together since then either, because they had semester finals, then Christmas break. And Greg Gard was telling us he was really looking forward to getting some consistency with his practice schedule. Boy, they haven't missed a beat to start the game tonight.
No, because that could be a concern after being out for so long, not having all your players together, but they've looked really crisp here early on.
Basket by Mark Freeman.
Nice shot from Mark Freeman, little floater there in the paint. See if he can get something going for the Redbirds.
That stops a 9-0 run. They had turned it over 5 times in the last 5 minutes. This is an Illinois State team that's averaging 80 points per game and shooting at an effective clip as well. 46% from the floor, and as you touched on earlier, nearly 40% from 3. But Wisconsin's defense has stifled a lot of teams this year. We saw them do it to a high-flying Houston team, holding them to 63 points in the Maui Invitational.
Wisconsin, it's just rinse and repeat, okay? And it starts on the defensive end. They're so sound fundamentally. And watch them here on these possessions. Watch just how they're all connected as a unit of 5, how they keep the ball in front, how they're in the gaps on the help side.
Crow, good job closing out on the 3-point shot. There is Brad Davison, the lone returning senior from a season ago. Gives it up to Johnny Davis. the circus shot almost went in. He'll get 2 shots after the break.
Johnny Davis so strong driving to the basket. You see the great find to Chris Vogt there for the dunk. And then on defense, getting out in transition with that steal. Johnny Davis got it going early on here tonight.
Woo! Papa John's just took that fresh, never frozen dough and hand stretched it into thin, oversized New York-style slices. I mean, look at that crust. That is the perfect crust thickness no matter how you eat it. So you can fold it or not. But I ain't gonna lie though, I fold it. Get a New York-style pizza from Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Welcome to Allstate, where we have all new lower auto rates. And savings like that make you feel like you won the whole dang thing. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate. Because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
Hey, our reservation's at 7.
I am ready.
Great.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Napoleon was born and raised to conquer, but he was just kind of over it, you know. Watching Prime Video, he realised he should follow his dreams. So he ordered a microphone with Prime next day delivery. Now the only thing he cared about conquering was his audience.
Tout le monde peut me voir derrière? Ok, je me lève.
Prime changed everything.
Magic is calling you to the Walt Disney World 50th Anniversary Celebration. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference.
You can try, but you'll never stop a Badger. Because we Badgers are born with curious minds and endless heart. When we see a curve in the road, we speed up. When there are mask shortages for first responders, we make our own supply chain. When there's a world on pause, we sharpen our claws. Through thunder, fire, and pandemics, we'll keep going. Because after all, you can't stop a Badger.
Red guard said Chucky Hepburn, he wants him more aggressive to score. You see the swing step and finish in transition, and he's doing it all. Rejecting the screen, knocking down the 3. I like this move here. Oh, fake spin, bring it back. Contact and finish. And here you just see him aggressive, looking to score. And when you do that, things open up for your teammates. So from the point guard position, look to get yours. And when you get in the paint, guys, other open teammates will open up. Great find there from the freshman.
Talked about the fact that Wisconsin looking for another score, that third option. Davison and Davis accounting for over half the team's points. Greg Gard said something interesting to us, though, today. Trent, he said, listen, I don't think it's going to be one guy every single night, but a collective effort tonight, at least in the early going. It's a combination of Crowell and Hepburn.
And Gard sounded very confident in his expectation of a number of guys being able to step up on any given night, giving them 10, 15 points. And so far tonight, Chucky Hepburn leading the way with that.
Meanwhile, defensively, Wisconsin continuing to clamp down on Illinois State. A 20-point-per-game scorer in Reeves, still scoreless. And in 14 possessions, Illinois State only has 3 scores as Johnny Davis gets the short jumper to go. Three from Strong, straight away.
Illinois State did a great job of moving that ball there off the ball screen. They forced a rotation, and they kept moving the ball until they got a good look.
Josiah Strong in the starting lineup for the first time in the last 7 games. Had been coming off the bench, giving them a spark. But Illinois State also dealing with some COVID-19 protocol issues. As Chucky Hepburn checks back in, Jordan Davis heads to the bench.
And Illinois State finally got a deflection on defense. I think they need to get a little bit more aggressive, active with their hands, putting some pressure on the ball so there's not easy post-entry passes. And if they can get some deflection, get some defensive rebounds, they can be deadly. They can be very deadly in the open court. They have a number of guys that can push the ball up. You see them going to a 2-3 zone here on the baseline out of bounds. But they got to get some stops before they can actually play to their strengths, and that's an open court.
Late in the timer for Wisconsin, 4 to shoot. Crowell gives it up to Hepburn, and he buries a 3. That's his second. He came into the ball game shooting just 24% from distance this year. Now he's got a pair.
And that's what happens. You get to the basket, you see the ball go in, you get a layup in, and now, you're feeling good about yourself. That basket's bigger. You're knocking down shots.
And a response the other way from Kendall Lewis, the transfer from Appalachian State. Can Illinois State string together some stops and buckets on the other end? Wisconsin shooting 75% from the floor. Hepburn hounded, almost lost it, and finally does cough it up. Numbers the other way for Illinois State. And a transition 3 rattles in for Josiah Strong.
And that's where they're good. In transition, they like to shoot early threes. They like to shoot them often.
Transition scoring has been the name of the game for Illinois State this year. Davison in and out, tipped back out by Crowell, and a second opportunity for the Badgers. Davison left it short. Crowell again.
Why not? Keep shooting it. Keep shooting. Those are all good shots, but great job from Crowell and just tapping that ball back out. And those are shots you want Brad Davison to shoot.
Crowell with 4 rebounds. I think he had 2 or 3 on that possession. Strong, meanwhile, hits another. He has 3 triples in the last 2 minutes, and a timeout taken by Wisconsin.
You see Antonio Reeves off that ball screen. Josiah Strong, no hesitation, not a bad defense. But when someone has it going, you got to be there even a little bit sooner. You can't give him that much space. Get into his space, make him uncomfortable, especially now a player like Josiah Strong has got it going a little bit here. 3 straight threes. Exactly what Illinois State and Dan Moore wants to do.
Well, you see that graphic right there. They had just 3 scores in their first 14 possessions since they've gone on a 9-0 run. And it's all been Josiah Strong with 3 threes. And he's a guy who has really stepped in and played well in his second year with the program after transferring over from Iowa Western. He has shot at 56% from downtown over the last 7 games. He's perfect from downtown tonight.
Yeah, you got to find him. A guy shooting that well. He's got confidence here tonight. There's nothing to lose for Illinois State Redbirds. You got to be there with a high hand on the catch.
Hepburn off the back iron. Good rebound that time from Chapman. Numbers again for Illinois State. Freeman into Chapman. Well defended by Vogt, but he got it to go.
Yeah, tough finish. Cy Chapman's a player that Dan Moore said has always had the talent, but now his discipline has caught up and is having a very, very good season here.
Wisconsin on a 2-minute scoring drought, and Vogt ends it with another 2-hand jam.
Johnny Davis, you watch his eyes there. The minute the double team came, the second it came, he looked up. He knew someone was open, and he found him underneath the basket.
18 points in the paint for Wisconsin out of their 31 points. Vogt has a pair of dunks. Here is Reeves. who is still scoreless tonight, 0 for 3.
Johnny Davis is so good in the post this last possession, but watch his head go up. The minute the double team comes, he knows someone's open. Great find, easy dunk.
Monday, the Badgers look to start 2022 with a statement victory when they head west to West Lafayette for a conference showdown with the Boilermakers. Coverage begins Monday at 7 Eastern on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. And that'll be a showdown of a couple of guys who have significantly improved offensively. Johnny Davis and Zach Edey. Johnny Davis, the second most improved scorer in the Big Ten this year.
Well, that's what you want to see, especially from that freshman to sophomore leap like both those players have gone through. That's when you expect a big leap, but, you know, almost 14 points a game is sensational. And we've seen here already, Johnny Davis just does it in so many different ways. He's playing great defense, but offensively, mid-range, post-ups, driving to the basket. I mean, it's really impressive. He's a pro here at the college level.
Great experience this summer with Team USA at the U19 FIBA World Cup. And that was a piece in the mind of Greg Gard in his progression this year. Came back from that experience with a little more swagger and a little more confidence.
Hey, swagger. It's all about the swagger, Matt. And you see Marcus Freeman hopping off there. Hopefully he's all right. But so much of it is about confidence. Maybe not even one specific thing in terms of improving a game, but just confidence as a player is so important. And Johnny Davis just oozing confidence and swagger this season.
So Mark Freeman tried to get up, was hobbling around a little bit under his own power, then he went back down. And as we talked about, Illinois State with a short bench tonight, missing 3 players. Here's another look at it.
Oh, I'm not sure if he came down on a foot, but he came down awkwardly. That ankle, that right ankle, definitely rolled. This is a player that Dan Moore is really high on. Was a high volume player at Tennessee State. And coming here to Illinois State, he's coaching him up to be more efficient, limiting his turnovers. But he's a guy, as Moore said, is usually the fastest player on the court, can really put pressure on opposing defenses. So hopefully we'll see him back here tonight.
Johnny Davis going to work on Lewis. Tough fadeaway shot, missed everything. Thate on the deck. Still a scrum for the basketball. Finally a whistle comes and a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing to the Redbirds.
Dan Moeller said that's the guy they would like to have on Johnny Davis. Kendall Lewis, more experience as a junior, 6'8", 210. He's a guy that physically can match up to Johnny Davis, and they're great defense, keeping him in front, staying low, forcing a tough shot.
Told us he wasn't sure how much we'd see Lewis get to match up against Davis defensively just because of the other mismatches in the post with Wisconsin's size, but he did a really good job there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Illinois State still trying to get this man going. And finally, the first bucket of the night for Antonio Reeves with less than 7 minutes to go in the first half.
Did a good job of just keeping his dribble alive, getting to his spot. It looked like he wanted to pass it, but found himself in enough space, and he knows what to do with it when he has some space.
Top 15 scorer in the country this year, averaging over 20 points per game. And he's another guy, we talked about, Johnny Davis's improvement from last year. Reeves is a guy who has steadily improved each year himself in the Missouri Valley Conference as Davis takes it to the cup, and he's now in double figures with 10.
Great pass from Chris Vogt as well. Johnny Davis, one thing that not many great, college players, that young players are great at moving without the ball. He's a great cutter as well. And you see Antonio Reeves kind of breaking loose a little bit here. This is a guy from Chicago that Greg Gard mentioned had visited Wisconsin numerous times, but has developed, been a little bit of a late bloomer. Wisconsin never offered him, so you can bet he's pumped to play against the Badgers tonight.
And he does it on the other end, rejecting a falling Johnny Davis. Another loose ball on the floor leads to Wisconsin retaining possession.
Johnny Davis, well, watch this. Great help side from Antonio Reeves. Timing. And Johnny Davis just kind of found himself in a tough spot to actually get that ball up. A very good job on the help side from Reeves.
Illinois State has blocked a ton of shots this year. They're averaging over 6 blocks a game, which is ranked 10th in the NCAA. And now Reeves on the run out. He's made back-to-back buckets. Gives it up to Strong. A home run pass up to Davis, making a touchdown catch. And a chance at a three-point play on the other end.
His good look ahead from Chucky Hepburn. And here you just see Johnny Davis's strength. He's catching that ball in the middle of 3 Illinois State players who are just bouncing off of him, finishing through the contact. And that was the first thing that Greg Gard mentioned in terms of his development this offseason was the weight room. He said, okay, as a freshman last year, didn't get the normal experience of being there in the summer, of getting in that weight room. And so it was almost like starting over this offseason, and combined with that USA experience was putting on some muscle, and he put that to show right there on that last play.
Going up and reaching for that ball in traffic like a wide receiver on the gridiron.
Nice, yes. Exactly like that, and then finishing off with a touchdown.
Chapman drew a foul. It goes against Chris Vogt. 2 shots coming for the redshirt junior from Minneapolis.
Vogt had pretty good position there, and he just kind of crowded his space a bit too much. Easy call for the ref.
Well, we've talked a lot already about players who have improved. I'm not sure anyone has improved more in the Missouri Valley Conference this year than Cy Chapman. Only played 5 games last year before opting out of the season. Was barely playing at all in those 5 games. Almost didn't return to campus, but has bought in to the habits, to the work ethic, and it has paid big dividends, not just for him, but for the Redbirds this year.
Yeah, Coach Mueller was really you could tell he was proud of Chapman and his progress, and especially his discipline on and off the court. He said that's made all the difference because he's always had the talent, and now it's showing out this year.
Johnny Davis with 13 already. Tyler Wall trying to tip out the rebound.
Illinois State doing a much better job on the defensive boards here lately. That's key for them, especially against a bigger Badger team.
The deficit is 9. It was at one point a 29-9 ball game in favor of the Badgers. And there's a tough take from Kendall Lewis. Illinois State not going away in this first half. And a whistle off the ball. Johnny Davis drawing a foul on the baseline. And it'll stay with Wisconsin.
The Illinois State fouls on number 22, Kendall Lewis, is first. The team's 6th.
I'd like to see Wisconsin go back inside, and Illinois State's done a good job. Give them credit, but we haven't seen Stephen Crowell with post-ups. The last time Johnny Davis got it there, he found the easy bucket to Chris Vogt. Great help side defense there. Another block for the Redbirds.
And another offensive rebound. That's the 8th of the game already for Wisconsin. Hepburn down the wall and through the double team. Was fouled before he went up in the shooting motion. I know there's Wisconsin in the bonus.
I know there's a foul there. I wasn't ready for him to dunk that, though. That kind of surprised me, Matt. Okay, Tyler Wall. But I liked how they got the ball in the post. Early on, they tried to establish post position every possession. They've gotten away from that a little bit. Get the ball in the post. That's where they have the advantage. Almost across the board, 1 through 5.
Already 22 points in the paint for Wisconsin. Still just a 7-point lead, though, for the Badgers. 4 minutes left in the first half. Lewis, no, and the tip-in is good from Chapman.
That's by Cy Chapman.
That's a big-time finish from the transfer. And right back the other way, Stephen Crowell. who now has 8 points to go along with 5 rebounds.
Again, a nice post up. Wisconsin did a good job of leaving that backside empty so that high-low was wide open.
We're starting to see the athleticism and the scoring ability on this end of the floor for Illinois State. It is what has got them back into this ball game. Tough take from Strong, no good, and the rebound to Wall. Chapman hedging on Davison, who has remained quiet tonight. Davison 0 for 5. He's averaging a career-high 15 points per game this season. Gets it down to Wall, who draws a foul.
Again, good post feed there for the Badgers. But Illinois State showing their athleticism here. Kendall Lewis driving to the rim, and Cy Chapman cleaning it up. Great job crashing the boards on the offensive end for Illinois State.
Seven-point lead for Wisconsin, 2:55 left in the first half. Matt Schumacher, the former Big Ten hooper. Trent Meacham with you. Davis has scored or assisted on 9 of the Badgers' 16 made field goals. He's 2 points away from 10 straight games with 15 points or more, joining a pretty elite group of former Badgers.
You think he'll get that tonight?
I think so.
I think so, too.
He's shooting 50% from the floor. And he's got 4 assists to go along with 13 points. And you said it before we went to break. He's a pro. And by all accounts, Sports Illustrated recently just put out their draft projected board, and he's in the top 10.
Well, he combines, he's got the athleticism, but also maturity about his game. You know, you can put him in the post. He can bring it up in transition. He's shooting the ball better. I also like just even, you know, he takes about 4 threes a game. It's about 25% of his shots. So even just the quality of looks that he gets. He's a patient player, but he knows when he needs to go, and he knows when he can slow it down and play off his teammates.
10 to shoot for Illinois State. Wall thought he got all ball. Instead, he's whistled for the foul.
Illinois State's doing a better job of dribble driving. Dan Muller talked to us about their ability, multiple guys being able to get to the basket. They're not the biggest team. They're not the most physical team, but they are a quick and athletic team that can shoot it, and that can be a tough combination when you can shoot it but also drive the ball.
Reeves on the drive and a chance at the three-point play, drawing a foul at the rim.
Yeah, Antonio Reeves, he can dance with the ball. He's got some wiggle to himself, Matt, and you see him getting to the rim. Looked like Hepburn's left heel was on the line. Oh, that's really close, but he kind of slid in there. And that just shows the ability and craftiness of Antonio Reeves.
Well, you knew he'd get going eventually. He scored in double figures in 18 straight games dating back to last season. Started this game 0 for 3. He's since made his last 3 shot attempts. And he's at the line now to complete a three-point play.
And what makes him tough to guard is he's great three-point shooter off the bounce. Side steps, step backs, you know, crossing over, just pulling up. And that makes you, as a defender, you got to be there. And he gives you a little hesitation. You can see how he gets to the basket, right hand, left hand. He's a fun player to watch, and you can expect him to continue to put it up here tonight.
Still no points for the Badgers, number 34. Brad Davison, their lone returning senior who's averaging over 15 points per game. And there's a foul on the entry pass. Stephen Crowell will get free throws.
And he picked up the foul there. Illinois State's done a good job of trying to fight around those post-ups. They've gotten some deflections. Cy Chapman trying to use his quickness against a taller Crowell, but picked up a foul there.
Crowell this year, 11 of 15 from the free throw line. Confidently knocks that down. Wisconsin 1 point away from tying their first half season high in terms of points. They had 42 in the first half against St. Francis Brooklyn back on November the 9th. Wisconsin started out the game shooting 75% from the floor over the first 5 minutes. It's dipped a little bit as Strong is off the mark, and there's Davis with the rebound. What do you want to see from Wisconsin here over the final 1.5 minutes?
Well, Johnny Davis going to the basket just like that with a little bit of space. He's just such a tough cover, but I like when they've gotten the ball into the post. Illinois State's undersized. When they can get the ball in the post and work off that, they've been really effective.
Another trip to the free throw line. Wisconsin third in the Big Ten in free throw percentage. Weekdays, our experts discuss the top stories in the conference and interview the people making headlines. Big Ten Today, weekdays, noon Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Davis knocks them both down, and now 10 straight games with 15 or more points for Mr. Davis. 5 of 5 from the free throw line as well.
That didn't take long.
No, it did not. Now Wisconsin has their season high first half points with 43.
A terrific footwork from Cy Chapman. They're working the baseline, and nice finish as well.
Wall backing down, high off the window, won't go. Here's Reeves. Final minute to play in the first half at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. 20-point lead at one point for Wisconsin. You have to credit Illinois State for getting stops and making buckets. At one point, this Redbirds club went on an 11-0 run. And they got Antonio Reeves involved finally as well. Davison on the kick out, and Crowell knocks it down. That's the 4th-3 of the first half. And Wisconsin shooting over 40% from distance.
And they may not get it, but I like how they push the ball. Hopefully, maybe trying to get a 2-for-1. Not quite going to get it, but great drive from Brad Davison getting into the paint, and Crowell stepping up and knocking down a 3.
About a 2-second differential between game and shot clock. One of the best scorers in the country with the ball right now. Reeves with 3. Strong. Shot clock violation. Great defense by the Badgers.
Illinois State came up with that ghost screen there on the high ball screen, and Brad Davison and Johnny Davis just shut that down. Terrific defense from those two.
2.4 left. Where's the ball going here for the Badgers?
I like to get it to Johnny Davis on the run, moving towards the front court. You got to get it on the run. You got some time. You have a few dribbles to take before you can get up the shot. The key is to get it on the run.
Davison takes it out. Full court pressure here from ISU. 2.4 ticks left. Davis couldn't get the shot off. It went to Jordan Davis instead of Johnny Davis. But Wisconsin ends the first half with a 10-point lead. They led by as many as 20. Then it got down to single digits, as close as 6. But the Badgers stretch it back out to a double-digit lead. Johnny Davis with 15 points in the first half. Stephen Crowell with 12. And Chucky Hepburn with 10. 10-point lead at the break for the Badgers.
Been a window of opportunity, maybe a door, but Johnny Davis said no closing no door. 46-36. His team is up by 10. He's got 15, and we are in our Chicago studio. Rafael Davis, Brian Butch, and Mike Hall alongside with you. This is a Badger team that hadn't played in 14 days, Brian, and there was some concern maybe they'd have a little rust. Doesn't seem necessarily so bad that first 20 minutes.
I was really impressed with the way they started this game. They came out, got up to a big lead. I love the way that Chucky Hepburn played. I thought he was aggressive. I think he needs to continue to do that. Obviously, Johnny Davis is going to continue to take over games. He's got 15 points so far in the first half. I love the way that he plays. But who else steps up? You know, you've got other guys stepping up for this team. Defensively, they need to tighten up a little bit. Giving up some offensive rebounds. Don't normally see that with a Wisconsin team. I think they need to take care of the points as well.
And you see Johnny Davis in the media. I've said it before. He called out his teammates. Someone else has to step up and chip in. Like you said, you see Chucky Hepburn. He came out aggressive to start the game, 10 points in the first half, but no one else stepped up and went with him. Johnny Davis is going to be Johnny Davis. Davison didn't have his best half, but you got that third guy in Chucky Hepburn. You need Davison to come this second half and have it better when all three of those guys get going.
And nice when Steven Kral's coming in with 12 points of the break, too.
Yeah, and you look at it, his ability to stretch the floor, his ability to score in the paint, points in the paint. They've got 24-12. That's why Wisconsin has success. There's no secret to why they continue to have success.
And that's why they are leading by 10 at the break at home. This is a game that has been much more comfortable for them than some other Big Ten teams had earlier today.
Promos out. Welcome back to Madison, Illinois State. Trailing 57-39. They're on the wrong end of a Wisconsin run, 11-1. Johnny Davis, 17 points, 6 of 13, 6 boards, 4 assists. You call him a definite pro. What has impressed you most about him tonight?
He is a pro already. Two things. One, his ability to score at different areas of the floor, posting up, mid-range. He's been so good. But defensively, we saw those clips to start the second half. He's been really good on that end of the floor. And that's what's impressed me the most.
Kendall Lewis right into the teeth of the defense, getting a much-needed bucket for Illinois State. They trailed by as many as 20 in the first half, then went on an 11-0 run. Now Lewis getting into the passing lane. Lewis will take it himself, and he draws a foul. 2 shots coming for the Appalachian State transfer.
And we saw Wisconsin get off to a great start in the first half. Okay, now again in the second half, tremendous, putting on a clinic on both ends of the floor. And then Illinois State got in transition, knocked down some threes, got some easy buckets in the first half. Now let's see if, led by Kendall Lewis here again, getting to the basket, if they can get something going, get some confidence in making some shots and see if they can make a game of this.
Jordan Davis checks in. Brad Davison heads to the bench.
I'd like to see Wisconsin play through the post. They've been so efficient there. And I also want to see Chucky Hepburn pick up his aggressiveness. Was so good to start the game, but has been quieter since. Hepburn
had 6 points early in that first half. Davis rolls it off the side of the rim into the hands of Illinois State. All 10 of Hepburn's points came in that first half.
Yeah, he was phenomenal the first 10 minutes or so of that half, but has been very quiet since then. And Antonio Reeves making Gilmore touch the floor, but couldn't finish the highlight play, potential highlight play.
Reeves has been stuck on 8 for some time. Started the ball game 0 for 3.
Look who's guarding him. Number 1, Johnny Davis, has been so good.
2 of the best scorers in the nation squaring up against one another. Both top 20 in the country, and a foul whistled against Chris Vogt. He wanted to travel. Instead, he's tagged with his 3rd foul.
That's a tough one for Vogt. Now, Greg Gard talked about him improving his ball screen defense, learning their system. I thought he did a really good job there of being up on touch the screen a little bit, dissuaded Reeves, and allowed Johnny Davis to get back in front, and then got back to his man. Did a good job, just picked up a tough foul.
Here's Reeves. Gives it up to Washington. Tough shot with the left hand. No. Reeves there for the offensive board. And he's headed to the free throw line.
The Wisconsin fouls on Jordan Davis, his 2nd, the team's 6th.
Number of teams in the Big Ten in action tonight over on the Big Ten Plus app. Western Illinois at Iowa. Keegan Murray filling it up again for Iowa, the nation's leading scorer with 29 points. By the way, you can catch any Big Ten team, any Big Ten sport on the Big Ten Plus app. Thousands of live non-televised events. You can download and subscribe today. The Big Ten Plus app powered by the Big Ten Network.
Or catch a replay if you miss your team playing.
That's right.
Keegan Murray, man, I'm so looking forward to seeing these guys go at each other when you think of a Johnny Davis and Keegan Murray matching up. going back and forth. It's going to be a great Big Ten season.
Two of the best scorers in the country, two of the most improved scorers in the Big Ten.
And two guys that are pros that just can do it, can hurt you in so many different ways. And it seems like they're improving by the day.
That's by Antonio
Reeves to the bucket. Now has 9 points, make it 11. And 19 straight games for the senior with double figures.
And when I see these scoring runs a little bit, Illinois State 7-0, to me it's all the pace. When this game is at Wisconsin's pace, when it's a little bit slower, when they're deliberate, when they're playing through the post, and then get back on defense, they're having their way. But when this game is a bit looser, when it's played in the open court, that's where Illinois State is able to play to their strengths, and the past couple minutes are getting there.
Hepburn, there's that aggressiveness, left it short. And then Crowell, who has attracted the ball like a magnet on the offensive glass, wins it back for Wisconsin. Crowell tonight has 7 rebounds, and it's a Wisconsin team that has out-rebounded Illinois State 31-19 tonight.
I like Chucky Hepburn, though, going back to that last play. He was playing a little bit of bully ball. You know, the freshman point guard, 6'2", 210. He's got the physicality to, lower his shoulder and create some space. Greg Gard mentioned his maturity. I said, also he's got the physique of an older player, and he knows how to put that to use.
Benefited from a full 8 weeks this offseason to get into the weight room, something that freshmen across the country last year didn't get to enjoy due to COVID-19. And that's part of why Johnny Davis has seen such an uptick this year. He got that summer in the weight room. As Hepburn buries another 3. Hepburn tonight has 3 triples. He's perfect from downtown, and 13 points for the true freshman. And then back the other way. Canned in by Iman Washington.
Nice skip pass to the shooter.
Another 3 for Wisconsin. Lindsay puts it in. And the Badgers are 7 of 14 from downtown.
Greg Gard mentioned this is where they've been struggling. Shooting the ball this season have not been great. If they can start seeing these shots go down, they're going to be really, really tough. Johnny Davis tried to slip that screen to get into the passing lanes, and Antonio Reeves did a great job of flaring that, found himself open.
Heat check from Davis, tipped around and corralled by Lewis. There's Reeves with the floater. That's good. Pure from about 10 feet away. And now Reeves has 16 points on 5 on 6 of 11.
We were just talking about him being stuck on 8, and he's got it going here. Illinois State in a zone defense, trying to change things up on Wisconsin.
Last time the deficit was less than 10. That was 46-38.
We were talking about Chucky Hepburn being more aggressive, was quiet after those first minutes of this game, but here he is, a couple feet beyond the arc, smooth stroke, great confidence, and then with the feed for Lindsay, stepping in with confidence, shooting the 3.
Back to a single-digit game in Madison, still 11:51 to play. Tonight's State Farm State of Success, the balanced scoring from the Badgers.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Steven Crowell. This guy right here, I was on him a little bit for taking an early 3, but he's a guy that can shoot the 3. He's made one tonight, but also he's been so good on the boards, 12 points, 7 rebounds, and he's someone that I believe will improve throughout this season, and on any given night can give him that 3, that third score.
Timeout taken by Wisconsin as Hepburn struggled to get the ball in. We will take the break with them. Be right back from Madison. Illinois State's made their last 4 field goals. They've cut the deficit to 9. Coming up after our game, get all the news of the day and highlights from around the conference on The Big Show, presented by Speedway, next on the Big Ten Network. Fans enjoying Wisconsin being back in the Kohl Center. It's their first game since December the 15th, showing a little moves.
Showing some moves. She knows how to rock the mask as well. Got it going on.
Wisconsin trying to close the door on Illinois State, who's in the bonus the rest of the way. That shot rejected, and here come the Redbirds. Into the front court, Lewis finishes at the cup, and it's the lowest deficit for Illinois State since the first half. .7-0 run for the Redbirds. Davison is checked back in for the Badgers.
And no Johnny Davis, so where are they going to go to manufacture points? This is where Wisconsin has struggled without Johnny Davis. They get the ball there into Stephen Crow.
Right on cue, Johnny Davis and Antonio Reeves, 2 of the nation's best scorers, checking back in. Here midway through the second half, Davis with 17 points, Reeves with 16. Lindsay will take a seat. Davis almost had the alley-oop to go. Tipped out of bounds back to ISU.
Had to adjust in midair. I don't know what that's like, Matt, but Johnny Davis almost got that to go down. Impressive play. Just couldn't get it to finish.
So now both teams in the bonus the rest of the way. How much of a role will free throws play in the outcome of this game? Reeves is picked off. Wall to the basket and hammers it home.
How about the defense from Tyler Wall? He got switched out on the ball screen to Antonio Reeves. Great job of moving his feet, cutting Reeves off, picked his pocket, going the other way for the dunk. Really big-time defense.
That was the first turnover of the half for Illinois State. Corner 3 for Davison. Off the mark. Strong in transition. He knocks it in. And the threes continue to fall in this half for Illinois State. 7 of 16 from distance. And it's a 6-point game. And Crow responds the other way.
What do I know, Matt? I told him earlier in this half, hey, one pass down, shooting open 3, but Stephen Crow proved me wrong. I do like the confidence in stepping up and knocking that down.
He's 3 of 3 tonight. Came into the ball game 8 of 29 on the year. Crowd getting into it at the Kohl Center. Back-to-back buckets for ISU. These two teams trading baskets.
Cy Chapman, tough matchup for Stephen Crow. Can face him up, but Crow's got to get out there a little bit higher.
Chapman defending Crow now. Davis thought about a 3. Lost it momentarily and finally does tip it out of bounds. Last touch by Wisconsin.
And the defense, Tyler Wall on the switch, guarding Antonio Reeves. Tremendous defense, picking the pocket and finishing with the dunk. And Stephen Crow, okay, no pass, just 1 pass down the floor, plenty of time on the shot clock. I told him I don't like that shot, but big time shot from Stephen Crow.
Illinois State has found the stroke from deep. 7 threes coming off a game in which they shot 3 of 20 in a win against UTSA. Kick out from Strong. Deep 3 for Reeves. Washington saves it beautifully, and an extra possession now for Illinois State. Reeves again. And another extra possession. Foul on the floor. Basket will not count, but Chapman will get at least 1 free throw.
Illinois State's hustle on that possession was really impressive. There, Stephen Crow got extended trying to defend Antonio Reeves' 3, which allowed Chapman to get in there and out-muscle the smaller Tyler Wall.
for the Badgers, Chris Vogt.
Both teams 8 of 11 from the free throw line. Both in the bonus the rest of the way. It's been a really good night for Crowell. He'll take a seat for now. 15.7 rebounds and a pair of assists. And he's been solid defensively, as you just touched on a moment ago, picking the pocket of Reeves and finishing at the cup. And that's one of the things that Wisconsin head coach Greg Gard is so high on with regard to Mr. Wall. The way that he affects the game without necessarily even touching the basketball. Tonight he's done it on both sides.
Yeah, you need guys that can play without the ball. And Wisconsin, they have a number of guys that can do that, but Tyler Wall would maybe be A1 in that category. Good screener, good cutter, and it can also play in the post.
Wall off the back iron.
And this is a great job of just ripping and going. Chris Vogt kind of clearing the space, the lane there for Tyler Wall to drive. And I wasn't ready again, once again, Matt, for Tyler Wall to go up trying to dunk it. But I love that mentality of not trying to lay it in, go up to dunk with two hands.
And I beg your pardon, Wall tonight has 11 points, 3 rebounds. But defensively has done a really nice job switching on Reeves, switching on Strong. There's an offensive rebound for Chris Vogt. Now Davis into the lane. He's rejected at the rim. This is the lowest deficit of the game for Illinois State since they trailed 6-2 at the beginning of the ball game. What's changed here over the last 5 minutes?
Well, Illinois State's got some confidence. Antonio Reeves has it going. Josiah Strong. Kendall Lewis as well. They're playing at their pace and rhythm. And just when I kind of feel like Wisconsin is up by 10 or 15 points, this is a ball game, and Illinois State's a very dangerous team because of the way they can shoot the ball.
Davison on the kick out. Hepburn wrestling it away, finds Wall, in and out. But he does draw a foul, and 2 shots coming for Tyler Wall when we come back. Things getting interesting in Madison. Basketball on the Big Ten Network, brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. From Madison, Wisconsin, we've got a really good contest between the 24th ranked Badgers and Illinois State out of the Missouri Valley Conference, who now has some foul trouble. 4 players with 3 or more fouls, including their best player, Antonio Reeves, with 4.
That's really big, picking up his 4th foul. Tyler Wall a couple times has forced a foul on Antonio Reeves on post-ups where he's using his size and physicality to force him to reach in to try to affect his shot. So that's something to keep an eye on. He's still in the game. I don't see Dan Muller wanting to take him out of the game. He's going to need his guy to take him home.
And remember, Mark Freeman, another very capable scorer for Illinois State, went out of the ball game in the first half with an ankle injury. We have not seen him since. Illinois State with a short bench to begin with tonight, with 3 players out due to COVID-19. Still 7 minutes left and change. Inside to Chapman. A little shoulder shimmy, and he got the baby hook to go.
And great set from the Redbirds of just opening the floor, 4-round one, isolating Chapman inside.
5-point basketball game. Double team comes on Wall.
Well, Brad Davison has just looked a little bit out of sorts tonight. We'll see if he can get it going here down the stretch.
Hepburn on the pull-up, no. And a rebound, Reeves. Davison tonight, a rare 1 for 8. Just 3 points. Tough take to the rack. And Kendall Lewis has made it a 1-possession ball game.
Kendall Lewis has been terrific in transition. They're again finishing through the contact.
Johnny Davis, tough shot off the front end. Davis, following his miss, earns a trip to the free throw line.
Illinois State has some rhythm going here. I love how they open the floor, isolating Cy Chapman, who's having his way tonight with 17 points, 6 for 8 from the field. And then Kendall Lewis in transition. We've seen this a few times. Could have got an and one, but impressive finish there. Illinois State, they had the matchup they like with Kendall Lewis on Johnny Davis. He did a great job this past possession, but once Johnny Davis got rid of the ball, he kind of let up a little bit, which allowed Davis to get to the offensive glass.
There is Mark Freeman watching from the bench. His team trailing by 4 on the road at a top 25 opponent. Washington gives it up. Lots of contact and a foul. Late whistle comes in as Chapman jumped off 2 feet and went straight to the rim.
It looked like a lot of ball there from Chris Vogt. Here's another look.
Perhaps Wall coming in with the swipe at the end.
I know they called that on Vogt, I believe. But to me, that looked like a good block. He's had a couple unfortunate ones go against him. I like the aggressive play again from Cy Chapman.
You're right, it does go against Vogt, and he takes a seat with 4 fouls. So now both teams with at least 1 player with 4 fouls. Illinois State has 2 players in Reeves and Lewis. Reeves still in the ball game. Lewis on the bench, at least for now. Wisconsin clinging to a 4-point lead. They led by as many as 20 in the first half. Really have to credit Illinois State's fight. And Chapman tagged with a foul as he went for the block against Stephen Crowell.
And on this end of the floor, it looked like a lot of ball from Cy Chapman.
At the line for the Badgers, Stephen Crowell, shooting 2.
So now Crowell heads to the line to shoot 2. Came into the ball game just 11 of 15.
And as a team, only 12 for 18 from the free throw line. And you know these games here, Matt, coming down the stretch that are tight, sometimes they're determined by shooting free throws.
2 big ones right there from the sophomore out of Eagan, Minnesota. Back to a 2-possession ball game. Reeves tried to float it up, and Illinois State bailed out by a foul call underneath as Chapman hit the hardwood.
I'd say bailed out. I don't think Chapman had a chance at that lob. I thought Stephen Crowell did a good job here getting back. I'm not sure if that was on Brad Davison coming in.
Still awaiting word officially on who that foul is called against. Chapman makes the first of a 1-and-1.
Stephen Crowell looked to create contact there in the midsection while he was in the air. And I don't know if Chapman had a play on the ball, but there was contact in midair, and the referee's going to call that.
It does go against Crowell. That's his second. Chapman makes them both.
And if you're Dan Muller, this is all you could ask for.
No doubt.
This to be a close game. Illinois State has nothing to lose here. We got a great ball game here heading down in the final 5 minutes.
Illinois State 5-28 all-time against the Big Ten. As Davis rattles it off the front end. They are 12-63 all-time against the top 25. Their last win coming back in the 2015-16 season against Wichita State. As that 3 goes down, and Antonio Reeves has 19 points. It's a 1-point game.
Stephen Crowell was stuck to his man on the ball screen. He's got to be up there at the level of the screen with a shooter like Antonio Reeves. Johnny Davis got held up as well.
Davison finds Crowell on the other end and the basket. Crowell with 17.
Yeah, nice find by Brad Davison, just patient. Goes up to shoot it at the last minute. Finds Crowell underneath for the and one. And here, Stephen Crowell, you see Johnny Davis getting hung up on the screen. Stephen Crowell still kind of in no man's land, back on his man. You can't allow a guy like Antonio Reeves to come off that clean. I like Brad Davison, though, being aggressive, getting into that paint. He can knock that shot down, and because he can make that fadeaway there from the free throw line, that forced Illinois State to come up and defend him, finding Stephen Crowell down low. Those pick and roll plays, Wisconsin should be able to get those.
Crowell's 18 ties a season high at 18 against Green Bay. Kick out to Washington on the drive, rejected by Johnny Davis. Numbers the other way. Davis on the step through, no. And now here comes Strong. Second opportunity for Washington, leads to 2 shots coming.
A lot of contact on both ends of the floor, going up and down, and finally a foul called. I thought Iman Washington did a really good job of attacking the much bigger Stephen Crowell, drawing the foul there on that last possession.
So that is the 3rd foul on Crowell. Vogt with 4 fouls, Crowell with 3. And on the other side for Illinois State, 4 players with 3 or more. Reeves has been playing with 4 fouls for about the last 4.5 minutes. And Kendall Lewis also with 4 fouls. Iman Washington at the line.
And Kendall Lewis has been the one guy that's been able to somewhat contain Johnny Davis. So that matchup here in the final 4 minutes is really key. Can Johnny Davis exploit him or draw another foul on Kendall Lewis?
3-point game, 4 minutes left in Madison. Davis in a 3. And that has been his night all night tonight. Davison now 1 of 9. 1 of 8 from distance. Johnny Davis on the run out. Sidestep rejection, draws a foul. And he is headed to the free throw line. 71-67 Wisconsin. Time winding down in Madison. Thanks, Mike. It has been a very entertaining game here in Madison. Wisconsin led by as many as 20 in the first half. That was their largest lead of the game. Illinois State has never led, but they've gotten a huge performance, especially in the second half, from one of the most elite scorers in the country in Antonio Reeves.
And Illinois State has kind of gone, as Reeves has gone, started slow as an individual. The team started slow. Now, same thing in the second half. We were kind of commenting. He was stuck on 8 points forever, but then he's really got it going here midway through the second half, and it's anybody's ball game right now.
4-point game. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Both teams in the double bonus the rest of the way. And Johnny Davis has 20. Back to 5 for Illinois State. And Reeves draws a foul on Davis.
Another nice set out of a timeout. So they had a horn set and just emptied one side of the floor and allowed Reeves to get to his strong right hand, picking up a foul. Some nice sets from Dan Moeller out of timeouts.
That is 3 on Johnny Davis. So now Davis has 3, Crowell has 3, Vogt has 4. And for Illinois State, they have 3 players with 4 fouls, Lewis, Reeves, and Chapman.
And Lewis is the key one for me, because he's done a pretty good job when he's been able to guard Johnny Davis. But with 4 fouls, he's going to have to defend without fouling. That's tough to do, especially against a player like Johnny Davis.
Breaking the action here. One of the nets is loose. They're going to try to get that fixed here quickly. There's a look at it. You can see one of the threads there missing around the cylinder.
A lot of made shots, man. 73 points, 78 points, especially that ball's going in. Burning the nets down, Matt.
Well, Wisconsin was burning the nets down to start the ball game. It's part of why they went out to a 20-point lead huge runs throughout the course of that first half, shot 75% through the first 5 minutes. And then slowly but surely, Illinois State started to get stops. They cut it to 10 at halftime. Got it to as little as 6 midway through the second half. They have had this to a 1-point ball game just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I thought Wisconsin was just going to continue to run a clinic on Illinois State, but give them a lot of credit for staying together, finding a way to make some shots, to get some stops, and kind of play to their strengths and rhythm. And this is where you want to be if you're the Redbirds. For this to be a ball game with a few minutes left, they're playing with nothing to lose, and we'll see who can step up, make free throws, make plays, get stops, get a key loose ball, rebound. That's what this game could come down to.
Here's a look at how the net got all discombobulated. It happened on the free throw just a moment ago. Too many times the net has swooshed on this end of the floor. And finally it snapped. You heard Trent say it a moment ago. Both teams shooting over 40%. Illinois State shooting 51%. Both teams 8 of 19 from 3. And boy, it's just been a really entertaining game. And again, you've got to credit Illinois State for hanging in when they could have just folded up the tent, down 20 in the first half, on the road at a Big Ten opponent, top 25 team in Wisconsin. So they've got the net fixed. Wisconsin comes back on the floor, leading by 5. Johnny Davis, another 20-point night. Stephen Crowell, a huge night with 18 points, tying a season high. And now Illinois State's Antonio Reeves at the free throw line. Reeves on the year, a 79% free throw shooter, and he hits the first. And now Reeves up over 20 points. This is his 8th 20-point performance of the season. He started the game 0 for 3, and he makes them both.
And he's a scorer, so he's just going to keep coming at you, and he can score in a multitude of ways. He's terrific off the bounce, and you can expect him to take his shots here in the final 3 minutes.
Davis, no. Crowell, the offensive board. He has just been all over the offensive glass tonight. Wisconsin has as a team as well.
Davison, nice drive and dish to Tyler Wall there. He hasn't gotten it going offensively, but he's made a couple of nice drives and passes in the past couple minutes.
5-point game. Chapman defended by Crowell. Chapman, contact, no call. Lewis off the mark. Crowell, the defensive rebound.
Crowell did a great job of just using his size and length and staying big, keeping his hands vertical.
Crowell on the cut. Good feed from Davis. Leads to a trip to the free throw line.
Brad Davison has not had his best game of the season at all, but I've liked his ability to get in the paint here. And nice find. Tyler Wall getting to the dunker spot, and then crafty finish around the rim. Davison's a guy who's played 139 games for the Badgers. Okay, so he has a lot of experience. And even though he hasn't played great, he hasn't made shots like he's been making all season, you can expect him to have a key impact down the stretch.
Crowell misses the second. He has 21 points to lead all Badger scores. New season high for the sophomore out of Eagan, Minnesota. Reeves on the floater, and the alley-oop goes. Count the basket and a chance at a three-point play.
A nice feed from Antonio Reeves. And be prepared, Wisconsin Badgers, for a lot of ball screens with Reeves and Chapman. Throw it up there, go get it. Terrific pass and finish from Cy Chapman.
And he completes the three-point play. Back and forth we go. It's a three-point game.
Three-point game. How Wisconsin defends that 1-5 ball screen will be important.
Davis, Wall, Crowell, Hepburn, and Davison on the floor for Wisconsin, and the turnover leads to a dunk the other way. Reeves flushing at the rim.
Kendall Lewis again on defense, got his hands on there, deflected the ball from Johnny Davis, and then getting out in transition.
And a timeout called by Greg Gard. There's Mark Freeman, who hasn't played since midway through the first half, limping on one foot, hyped for this Illinois State team, who trailed by as many as 20 in the first half.
Kendall Lewis, great hands. Cy Chapman getting on the floor. And then to finish with Antonio Reeves. And Illinois State, they're going to do this 1 and 5 ball screen. Antonio Reeves, Cy Chapman, put Stephen Crowell to work. All right, this is tougher for Crowell and Davis to defend. And how about that finish from Cy Chapman? He's loving it. Put it up there. Wow, that's impressive. Cy Chapman giving up a number of inches on Stephen Crowell, but he can go get it. And if you're Wisconsin, you got to be prepared for that ball screen action. We'll see if they defend it differently. Do they blitz it? Do they try to bring somebody else in to avoid Stephen Crowell defending that? But you can bet Illinois State will milk that action.
1 point game for Wisconsin. What's the key here over the final 2 minutes?
Well, I'd like to see Wisconsin get the ball in Johnny Davis's hands, not off that, but maybe off some action in the post, off some cuts. That's where he's really, really good. Posting him up, maybe mid-post.
Big rebound there from Tyler Wall. And it's out to Johnny Davis. Another 20-point game for the super sophomore from right here in the state of Wisconsin. And a foul goes against Reeves, I believe, and if it is, that is his 5th. That is his 5th foul, and that is huge, folks. Reeves, one of the best scorers in the country, has 20 points again tonight. He has fouled out for Illinois State.
Well, that's tough for Reeves to pick up. And is this, the super senior Brad Davison drawing this one? That's just that's a really tough one to go against Illinois State. But you can't reach in there. He looked like he got a little bit of jersey, and Brad Davison flailed his arms a little bit. Maybe sold that just a bit, but Reeves has got to be smarter. They need him in this game. You got a 1-point ball game. Heads up, crafty play for Brad Davison.
Here's another look at it. The referees checked the monitor just to make sure it went against Reeves. This is a huge call and a potentially game-defying foul called against Reeves, who has 23 as his night ends in Madison.
That may be the play of the game for Brad Davison.
Yep.
Drawing that foul. Heads-up play. You feel a guy with his arm on you. You're cut through the lane. Show your arm up. Drew the foul. Really heads-up play from Brad Davison.
Well, you talked about his experience. He has played in now all 140 possible games during his time at Wisconsin. And it hasn't been the best night shooting for him. But he makes both free throws and gets Illinois State's best player in Antonio Reeves to foul out with 70 seconds left. Who does Illinois State go to now? Chapman on the thread, down low to Lewis, and it's an offensive foul drawn by guess who? Tyler Wall.
You talk about these little things, these little plays that make the difference between winning and losing. Tyler Wall stepping up there. Great job getting into position. Cy Chapman's trying to avoid him. Two of the biggest plays of the night weren't made baskets. They were a foul drawn on both ends of the floor from first Brad Davison and now Tyler Wall.
Huge night for Tyler Wall. 14 points, 6 boards. He's done it on the defensive end as well, as you just saw there, taking the charge. He and Stephen Crowell both on the floor now have been massive tonight for Wisconsin. And now another foul, that time drawn by Tyler Wall. And it goes against McChesney.
And this is where Illinois State's got to be smarter, picking up fouls like this, but give Wisconsin credit. When you cut with integrity, the defense has to respect that. When you post up with integrity, with assertiveness like Tyler Wall just did there, that can force the defense to, maybe pick up a foul or do something because you're posting, you're moving with purpose.
Look at the foul trouble for Dan Mueller, whose team is already short. 3 players out due to COVID-19 protocol, and Mark Freeman went out in the first half with an injury. Now McChesney also playing with 4 fouls. Back to a 5-point game and a timeout taken by Josiah Strong.
And this game is not over, Matt, but Illinois State, without their 3 best players, going to have a much harder time manufacturing some scores here.
Illinois State trailed by as many as 20 in the first half. It was a 10-point game at halftime. Double-digit lead for Wisconsin midway through the second half. Illinois State had this to 1 just a couple of minutes ago. Incredible fight from the Redbirds. And how about the fight from Wisconsin, too? Talked about it in the beginning. Greg Gard said that's one of the things that stands out to him about this team, their grit and their resilience.
Yeah, and this was different because they got out to a big lead. In other games this season, they've gotten down and have had to fight back. But here's more just sticking together. And I look at Brad Davis and someone who has struggled tonight, but staying with it mentally, staying in the game, a couple really key assists down the stretch, and then drawing the foul on Antonio Reeves, knocking down 2 free throws. When it was a 1-point game, as strange as it might sound, that was the play of the game in my eyes.
Davison just 1 for 9, but he's 2 for 2 at the free throw line and got Reeves to foul out just a couple of moments ago. Knocked out of bounds, and it'll stay with Illinois State. Wisconsin has Davis, Davison, Wall, Crowell, and Hepburn on the floor.
And this for Wisconsin, you want to defend the 3-point line and also not foul.
Deep 3, no good. Tipped around by McChesney. And the referees will say it's last touched by Wisconsin. No argument from the Badger bench. So a fresh 20 for Illinois State. 2-possession game in Madison. Kendall Lewis to the rack, right into the chest of Wall.
Illinois State's going to have to foul, if they can't get a steal.
Well, Trent, both teams were in the bonus with about 8.5 minutes to go, and we wondered at that point how that would affect the game, who would take advantage, and down the stretch, at least to this point, it's been Wisconsin. As it appears, McChesney will be the second Illinois State Redbird to foul out. Make that the 3rd Redbird to fall out.
Both teams have shot well from the free throw line, have knocked down shots from there. You see McChesney going out. But Wisconsin has been the smarter team, has made cuts with assertiveness, have drawn fouls, have, Tyler Wall on the defensive end stepping up with a key charge. And that's what's made the difference down the stretch. Those fouls that Wisconsin has drawn or forced, and then knocking down the free throws.
Cannot say enough about the performance of Tyler Wall tonight. 18 points now. That ties a season high, which he had in the championship game of the Maui Invitational. 5-point game. Schmidt has checked in for McChesney. Illinois State desperate for a shot. And buried by Josiah Strong.
Tough shot. I thought Chucky Hepburn was fantastic on defense and getting into him, not allowing him much breathing room. But really tough shot off that DHO for Josiah Strong. And you see Chucky Hepburn just harassing him right there with him, not giving him much. Is what you call a get action. Throw it to your big and go get it for a dribble handoff. And he does this, get it and shoot it. Tough shot from Josiah Strong.
Okay, 12 seconds left. 2-point game. Wisconsin will get it. No timeouts left for Illinois State. 1 for the Badgers. Both teams in the double bonus. This has been an absolutely wild game. It looked for a moment in that first half like Wisconsin would run away with it. Credit to Illinois State. They continued to battle back, won on an 11-0 run in the first half. Had a huge night from their leading scorer, Antonio Reeves, who's now one of 3 ISU players to foul out, and yet they are down by just 2 points.
If you just looked at those lines, you'd think Wisconsin was blowing them out, but this has been a game. You got 2 points right here. And if you're Illinois State, you're going to try to force a turnover, maybe trap. If you can get them trapped in the corner, try to force a turnover. If you can't get a turnover, you got to foul. Now, Wisconsin, for the most, they got good free throw shooters across the board. So you feel pretty good if you're Greg Garb, but you just got to take care of the ball and knock down shots. Knock down your free throws.
Yes, Wisconsin tonight has shot at 23 of 30 from the free throw line. They get it to the senior Davison. Double team comes, no foul until 5 ticks come off the clock. Officials will get together. Illinois State wanted a jump ball there. And now I believe we'll have a check of the monitor.
Timeout, Wisconsin.
Well, Brad Davison just kind of...
Well, now in the arena, they have announced a timeout was given to Wisconsin before a foul or a potential jump ball. So now Wisconsin out of timeouts. Referees getting together on this. Courtney Green, Bill Eck, Steve Haneke. And it looks like the call will stand. So now if you're Wisconsin, as you get another look at it,
it looked like Brad Davison was just expecting them to foul, and they did it. And I thought even Illinois State could have been more aggressive on that trap. But Brad Davison, you got to do something. You can't just hold it. It's going to be a 5-second call, so heads up, timeout there.
What's your strategy here for the Badgers?
Well, you got to get the ball in and take care of the ball. But you can't just expect them to foul. You got to be ready to make a play, make a pass, put the ball on the floor. Obviously, you don't need to shoot 7 seconds left, but this is all about taking care of the ball and then knocking down foul shots.
Wisconsin 0 of their last 4 from the field, but they've gotten to the free throw line. As you see Davison there, he was walking off the court. He thought he was fouled. Certainly he expected, like you said, Trent, to be fouled. Instead, it was a double-team trap in the corner. 7.3 left, 2-point game. Both teams in the double bonus. No timeouts left for either team. Into Davison again and immediately fouled by Washington. And now the lone returning senior for Wisconsin heads to the free throw line in his 140th career game in a Badger uniform.
And you like your guy who's played that many games to go get the ball and have the confidence to want the ball, to be up on the line for these free throws. But I thought that previous possession, he can't just expect for the team to foul him. He's got to be ready for them to trap and maybe without fouling.
Davison, an 84% free throw shooter. And he calmly knocks down the first.
And you love a guy who's struggled, but then is willing to step up and make big plays. And he hasn't done it in scoring, but he's done it in passing. He did it drawing foul, that 5th foul on Antonio Reeves, now knocking down free throws.
And he makes them both. Perfect from the line tonight. Carter Gilmore checks in. Illinois State down 4, no timeouts, and 6 seconds left.
Well, Illinois State's just got to hope for a quick bucket, and then can you get a steal or something on the inbounds?
Josiah Strong heaves a 3 off the back iron, and Wisconsin escapes narrowly. A furious comeback effort by Illinois State, and the coaches meeting and sharing a grin. What a battle tonight in Madison, Wisconsin.
89-85, both halves. I thought Wisconsin was going to run away with it. Johnny Davis was fantastic. And then Kendall Lewis was really good defensively against Davis. Illinois State got out in transition. We saw Antonio Reeves kind of showcase his game. And, this is a good Illinois State ball club. Wisconsin somewhat escaping with the victory here.
3 Illinois State players fouled out, including Antonio Reeves, who you just saw there. He had 23 points. You wonder how this game might have been different had he been able to stay in. But nonetheless, Wisconsin hangs on to win 89-85. What's your biggest takeaway for the Badgers?
Well, Johnny Davis had 20, but Brad Davison never got it going offensively. But Stephen Crowell, Chucky Hepburn, Tyler Wall, we talked about a third score where those 3 all stepped up in big ways tonight.
That's it from the Kohl Center, where Wisconsin wins at 89-85. For Trent Meacham, our entire crew, I'm Matt Schumacher. Coming up next, The Big Show, recapping all the action across the Big Ten.
Now on The Big Show, men's basketball is back after a holiday break with multiple teams, including 3 ranked squads in action. Highlights up plenty. For the first time in 14 days, Wisconsin is back. You know what that means?
Johnny Davis.
Johnny Davis is back. The steal, the slam, 20 points, 11 rebounds. They were cruising. Up by 20 in the first half. Not cruising anymore. Stephen Crowell with a tough layup and the foul. He finished with 21. But this thing's gotten close. 2 minutes to go, 3-point game, turnover. Antonio Reeves, slam dunk, 1-point game. Under 20 seconds to go, they need a 3-ball to cut it down to a 2-point game, and they get it. Josiah Strong with the drilled shot. 10 seconds to go, the Badgers get to the line, and Brad Davison, who did not have a good day at all shooting the ball, had a nice day shooting free throws. He hits them. They win 89-85, but this was a real scare. Davison only 7 points on the day, Rayfell, 1 of 9 shooting from the floor. Badgers had to crawl and scratch their way to victory here.
Yeah, it's not what you expect from Brad Davison coming out, but he did the little things down the stretch. He did what your 6-year senior should do. His offensive game, his shot wasn't falling this game, but he got his teammates involved. He made heady plays. He had heady plays on defense. He drew a foul on Reeves to get him fouled out. He did all the little things that all the players in America should learn. This is how you stay on the court when my jumper isn't falling.
I love the performance by Stephen Crowell. Career highs, points 21, career highs, rebounds 9. I thought he did a good job of stepping out, doing some really good things. Tyler Wall played fantastic, got a crucial charge with about a minute left in the game. I thought he played well, was able to get a lot of different things. He's a Swiss Army knife, right? He's able to do a lot of things differently. He did that well. And again, the one area, though, that concerns me a little bit, defensively. They give up 85 points. You don't see that with Wisconsin. They've got to improve on that.
Wall was impressive. Season high, 18 points as the Badgers pick up their 10th win of the season. Iowa also trying to pick up their 10th win of the season as